and not only in Taipei but also in other counties.
And I was like, am I in Kaohsiung or Taipei?
And sometimes I feel really confused, like, am I in the right place?
Hello, my name is Kathy. My nationality is Taiwan.
Hello, my name is Joshua White. I am from the United States.
My name is Thai, and I come from Hanoi, Vietnam.
Hi everyone, my name is Isi. I'm from Mexico.
Hello guys, I am Nam and I'm from Thailand.
Hello, my name is Guillermo Balseiro and I am from Colombia.
There are many names of roads in Taipei which borrow the names of province or cities in mainland China. On the one hand, it symbolizes the inheritance of Chinese culture, like Jilin Road is in the northeast of Taipei and also the northeast of part of China.
All over the country we have the system is based on numbers. It is a way to organize the streets. We start always with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you go south, you say 1 south, 2 south, 3 south. Give you a mental idea, like a mental map where you are.
After the French ended its rule in Vietnam in 1945, I think it is a time when Vietnam just had a big transfer to a new era of the country. The way our mayor in the past, he named the street in cluster around the city center. All the street will be named by the great kings of Vietnam when we established the country, and the surroundings will be named after some of the great generals or the great heroes or heroines of the country as well. And in the areas where we call West Lake in Hanoi, it is the place where people visit there to get chill with some cup of coffee or some drink. We name the street around the area after the artists like the writers or the poets.
I like the way of naming the road because we are able to find out the different characteristics or political consciousness of each period of time. Besides, road names are closely related to our lives, as if telling us not to forget these stories happened in the past.
I think it is absolutely an interesting and meaningful way to name the street in Vietnam, because we didn't use the number to call the street. We use all of the historical characters, figures, just like intrigue the younger generation to learn more about our history and to be proud of the country as well.
There's not large numbers of streets in various towns in Taiwan are named Zhongshan Road or Zhongzhen Road. And not only in Taipei but also in other counties in other cities.
Zhongshan, Zhongzhen, and there's the same name, and I was like, am I in like Kaohsiung or I'm Taipei?
And sometimes I feel really confused. Am I in the right place?
Zhongshan Road, which in order to commemorate the fathers of the Republic of China, Sun Yat-sen.
Our mayor, Hanoi mayor, he changed all of the street name from the French language into Vietnamese one. Hai Ma Trung Street was named after our two Vietnamese national heroines who had a great contribution to the fight against the first Chinese domination in Vietnam. And also they are the general and they lead all of the army. They stand up on the two elephants, which represent their powers.
The first one, Miguel Hidalgo, he is known as the father of Mexican independence. In many cities in Mexico, you will find his name on many important roads. People from Spain that were born in Mexico didn't have the same rights of people from Spain born in Spain. So he was one of the Spaniards born in Mexico, so he didn't have the same rights as the other people. People here, they say that maybe he did it for his own, that's why he started this kind of movement. But other people like him because he was a father at the church, he was a priest, and then he encouraged the people to fight against the Spaniards.
Martin Luther King Street actually There are a lot. Martin Luther King Street, he's known for being a civil rights activist, and I think everybody pretty much knows him for the I Have a Dream speech, which was inspiring. And Martin Luther King represents what it means to utilize your voice within our societies, and it doesn't just, I would say, account for people of color, but all minorities and or that of white people who can also be inspired by his teachings as well. These figures symbolize representation of what's possible. I would say the American dream.
This road that called Pradip Manu Tham Road. Actually, he's a politician. His actual name is Pridi Panomyong, but he received the name Pradip Manu Tham after he got status after the Siamese Revolution. This revolution, like we can call it blood-lace transformation in Thailand. After that turning point, 1932, we changed from the absolute monarchy to democracy. They give the first constitution.
Kalakaua is a long street within Waikiki. Waikiki is a popular tourist destination. David Kalakaua was actually one of the last rulers within the Hawaiian Kingdom. They actually refer to him as the Merry Monarch, which is one of the celebrations that takes place, I would say, annually every year, hula competition. And that is vital to Hawaiian history and culture. He really wanted to ensure that the language was preserved.
This road is located in the eastern part of Thailand. The road is named after the traditional dessert they made from sticky rice with the coconut sauce and put some beans, some red beans, and put inside the bamboo, and they just grilled it. When you bite the bean, you will have like the texture of bean and
Within Hanoi Old Quarter, when Hanoi was chosen to be our capital city, it turned to be a business center of the country. Gradually, they formed like different streets that sell specific goods and products, and they named the street with Hut Han, which means the shop of the commodities, followed by the name of the goods or commodity they sold. Within Hanoi Old Quarter, you can find Han Đường. Đường in Vietnamese means sugar, so Han Đường is a street of sugar where you can find a lot of Vietnamese traditional sweet or snacks. Normally, Vietnamese traditional sweet will include the biscuits or even the mung bean cake, which made of mung bean or the white rice.
For the alley of the little chili, this one is in Guanajuato as well. Chili is very important for most of Mexicans because for Mexicans in general, they like to eat spicy food. Chili is one of the favorite condiments for people to add to their meals.
Estanco del Aguardiente used to be the place where they sell alcohol to people. Aguardiente is our national alcoholic beverage here in Colombia. Aguardiente is the only thing that can make devil's curse go away. Even though right now there is obviously no such place, the name remains.
it's called Barak Road. It is believed that if any couples want to register a marriage certificate there, and your love will last forever, because the word Rak in Thai it means love.
So the most famous one is the Alley of the Keys by far. This is a story of a young lady. Her father wanted her to marry a rich guy, so he didn't allow her to go out often. The young lady met a guy at the church, and that was a poor guy, and he was a minor, and they somehow fell in love with each other. The guy, he moved to a house near to the young lady. The houses are very close to each other. They could talk to each other in the night and also kiss. The dad found out that they were talking in the middle of the night, and he grabbed a knife and he wanted to kill the guy. Instead, he ended up killing his own daughter. When the young lady was dying, she was giving a kiss to the guy, to the minor. If you come to this alley, you gotta kiss your partner, or otherwise you will have bad luck, or there will be some problems or conflicts in your relationship.
Names Lạc Long Quân and Ogre, because legend has this Lạc Long Quân was a dragon and Ogre is the fairy from the mountain. When they raise their kids, 50 sons follow his father to the ocean, and 50 daughters follow his mother to the mountain, and then settle down and build up the country. Vietnamese people, we always see ourselves as the son and the daughter of Lạc Long Quân and Ogre from the dragon and the fairies.
Well, Kukulkan it was a godness in the past for the native Mexicans. Kukulkan, he was known to be like a snake with feathers, just like a bird. So it was a very important god at that time, and it's the name of this avenue here.
It's called Calle de los Tumbamuertos. Long time ago, the cemetery of the city was located in that area of downtown. All the processions with the coffins to go to the cemetery had to pass through that street. Almost every time that there was a procession with the coffins fell and the bodies rolled out of the coffins, which is quite creepy. It is very interesting and it's very superstitious.
The train station in my hometown, Zhongli, Chaoyuan, there are many migrant workers from Southeast Asia. Therefore, there are many restaurants with Southeast Asian cuisine near the train station. There are also the shops that selling the commodities from Southeast Asia, which gather together and form an exotic business district. So we will name these streets according to their belonging countries, such as Indonesian streets and Philippine streets.
Convent Road was built in Brahma 4, and they used the Western technology to build this road.
Take the foreign names to name our street was very common back to the time when the French colonized the country. However, nowadays, most of the streets in Vietnam were named in our own language, and there are just few left with the French language. In Hanoi, Yat Sen is the only street that have a foreign name actually. Back to that time, Yat Sen, he was the co-discoverer of the vaccines to kill the people with the plague. He has a great contributions in building the Hanoi Medical University. Yat Sen Street was located near the Hanoi Medical School to commemorate him and his contribution to our Vietnamese people.
The name actually, I believe, comes from the Tequesta tribe. The Tequesta tribe ended up calling a river there Miami, and it's supposed to mean the big river. So I thought it was important to point out this particular road as well as a now named city because it still pays homage to the tribes that were initially within that region.
In Bogota, they have the trend to name most of the important avenues based on the relationship that we have with our neighbors. For example, the most important avenue is called Avenida Caracas. Caracas is the capital city of Venezuela.
There are different neighborhoods that have the different names of cities in the US, and also another neighborhood with European countries and Latin American countries. Every time I walk through these streets, I feel like I'm traveling around the world. I'm going to Spain. Oh, I'm going to Germany. I think it's kind of more like cultural fusion, right? Because it represents multiculturalism, and it feels like we are all connected in this world, right? I believe that it's nice to have different kind of names for the streets because that makes them a little bit more memorable and unique.
In the case of colonial names, because this is part of our historical heritage, it is preserved. It is like a way to remember the history. All of those colonial things try to reflect in part what happened in that street. That's another sense of cultural fusion because we feel proud about it.